Why hard work keeps you poor. Every morning, millions of people wake up before sunrise. They drag themselves out of bed, fight through traffic, work long hours, come home exhausted, and then repeat the exact same cycle the next day. For years, sometimes decades. Most of these people are hardworking, disciplined, and responsible. And yet many of them remain financially trapped. They work harder than ever but somehow never get ahead. Now think about this. If hard work creates wealth, why aren't construction workers millionaires? Why aren't factory workers rich? Why do some people work 12 hours a day and still struggle to pay bills? Meanwhile, other people seem to make more money in a month than hardworking families make in years. Are they working harder? Not necessarily. And that's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to talk about. From childhood, society teaches a simple formula. Work hard, stay loyal, keep grinding, and one day success will come. But for millions of people, that day never arrives. Not because they are lazy, not because they are stupid, not because the world is against them, but because they were taught the wrong lesson. The world teaches people how to work. It rarely teaches them what to work on. And that difference changes everything. Because hard work is not making you poor. Hard work in the wrong direction is. A person can spend 40 years climbing a ladder only to discover it was leaning against the wrong wall. That is the trap. And that is what this video is about. Why some of the hardest working people remain broke, while others quietly build wealth, freedom, and power. Because in the modern world, working harder is not enough. You must learn where your effort is going. And until you understand that difference, you may spend your entire life running without ever moving forward. Chapter 1. The biggest lie about hard work. For most of your life, you have been told the same story. Work hard, study hard, stay disciplined, and eventually, you will become successful. It sounds reasonable, it sounds fair, and that's exactly why so many people believe it. But there is a problem. The world rewards value, not effort. Think about that carefully. The market does not care how tired you are. It does not care how many hours you worked. It does not care how much energy you sacrificed. The only thing it rewards consistently is value. A man can dig holes in the ground for 12 hours a day. Another man can create a piece of software in 2 hours. Who gets paid more? Usually the person creating more value, not the person suffering more. But society rarely teaches this distinction. Children are taught to work hard. Rarely are they taught to become valuable. School rewards obedience, not ownership. Employees are rewarded for reliability, not leverage. Most people spend their entire lives believing effort alone creates wealth. And that belief becomes dangerous because it causes people to focus on activity instead of outcomes. They become addicted to working, not progressing. Busy but stuck. Exhausted but stagnant. Productive looking but financially trapped. This is why millions of hardworking people remain exactly where they started. Not because they lack discipline, not because they lack character, but because they are applying effort to systems that were never designed to make them wealthy. Imagine two men. One spends 10 years digging with a shovel. The other spends 1 year building a machine that digs for him. Who wins? The answer is obvious. Yet most people still choose the shovel because they were taught that hard work itself is the goal. It isn't. Hard work is only useful when it moves you towards something valuable. And this is where most people get trapped. They confuse movement with progress, hours with results, effort with wealth. But wealth has never belonged to the hardest workers. It belongs to the people who understand where effort creates the greatest return. Because hard work is not making you poor. Hard work in the wrong direction is. Chapter 2. The Worker Trap. Most people believe they have a money problem. In reality, they have an ownership problem. From the moment people enter adulthood, they are taught to do one thing: sell their time. An employer gives them money, and they give the employer hours. The transaction seems normal. In fact, it is so normal that most people never question it. But hidden inside this system is a trap. A worker can only earn money when they are working. The moment they stop, the income stops. Their entire financial future becomes tied to their time, and time is limited. No matter how hardworking someone is, there are only 24 hours in a day. That means there is always a ceiling, a limit, a maximum. And that limit keeps millions of people financially trapped. Now compare that to ownership. An owner builds something once and gets paid repeatedly. A business, a product, a brand, an investment, a system. The owner is no longer selling hours, they are building assets. And assets continue working even when the owner is sleeping. This is the difference most people never understand. Workers create value, owners capture value. Think about a company. Thousands of employees work every day. They help build the business. They help create revenue. They help increase profits. But at the end of the year, who becomes wealthier? Usually the owner. Not because the owner works harder, but because the owner controls the asset. This is why some people spend 40 years working and still struggle financially, while others become wealthy by owning things that continue producing value. The worker asks, "How can I make more money?" The owner asks, "How can I build something that makes money?" That single difference changes entire lives. Because hard work is not making you poor. Hard work spent building someone else's dream might be. Chapter 3. Why busy people stay broke. One of the biggest illusions in modern society is the belief that being busy means being productive. People wake up early, answer emails, attend meetings, complete tasks, respond to messages, and fill every hour of the day with activity. By the time they get home, they feel exhausted. And because they feel exhausted, they assume they made progress. But activity and progress are not the same thing. The modern world rewards busyness. People proudly tell others how busy they are. They wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. Yet if you look closely, many of these people are running in circles. They are moving constantly without getting any closer to the life they actually want. Imagine a hamster running on a wheel. It works hard, it sweats, it never stops moving. But at the end of the day, it remains exactly where it started. This is how millions of people live their lives. They confuse motion with achievement. The wealthy understand something different. They do not ask, "How much work did I do today?" They ask, "Did today's work move me closer to my goal?" That question changes everything. Because a person can spend 10 hours doing low-value tasks and accomplish almost nothing. Another person can spend 1 hour making a high-value decision and completely change their future. Most people focus on being occupied. Successful people focus on being effective. This is why so many hardworking individuals stay financially stuck. They are busy maintaining their current life, but they are not building a better one. Their days are filled with urgent tasks, but very few important ones. Years pass. Opportunities disappear. Nothing changes. Because hard work is not making you poor. Being busy with the wrong things might be. And until you learn the difference between activity and progress, you may spend your entire life exhausted without ever becoming free. Chapter 4. The Leverage Secret. If there is one concept that separates wealthy people from everyone else, it is leverage. Most people spend their entire lives trading time for money. They work 1 hour and get paid for 1 hour. They work 10 hours and get paid for 10 hours. Their income is directly connected to their effort. The wealthy play a completely different game. They use leverage. Leverage is the ability to multiply results without multiplying effort. Think about a business owner. They do not need to personally serve every customer. A team helps them. Think about an investor. Their money continues working even while they sleep. Think about a content creator. One video can reach millions of people without requiring millions of hours of work. The average person relies only on personal effort, while the wealthy combine effort with leverage. That difference changes everything. Imagine two men. One carries buckets of water by hand every day. The other spends his time building a pipeline. At first, the man carrying buckets appears more hardworking. He sweats more, struggles more, and works longer hours. But years later, the pipeline delivers more water than he could ever carry alone. This is exactly what happens in the real world. Most people become obsessed with effort instead of systems. They focus on working harder rather than building something that works for them. Leverage comes in many forms. Money is leverage. Technology is leverage. Media is leverage. Employees are leverage. Businesses are leverage. Assets are leverage. The modern economy rewards people who know how to multiply effort, not people who simply increase effort. This is why some individuals remain trapped no matter how hard they work. They are carrying buckets while someone else is building pipelines. The wealthy are not always smarter. They are not always more disciplined. but they often understand leverage better than everyone else. They know that the goal is not to work harder forever. The goal is to create systems that continue producing results long after the effort has been invested. Because hard work is not making you poor, working without leverage might be. And until you learn how to multiply your effort, you may spend your entire life working harder while someone else achieves more with less. Chapter 5. Hard work without skill is a dead end. Imagine two people starting at exactly the same point in life. Both are hardworking, both are disciplined, both are willing to sacrifice. For the first few years, their lives look almost identical. They work similar hours, earn similar incomes, and live similar lifestyles. But then something begins to change. One person spends their free time developing valuable skills. They learn sales, communication, marketing, investing, leadership, technology, and problem solving. Every year they become more valuable to the marketplace. The other person continues doing the same work they have always done. They gain experience, but they do not significantly increase their value. 10 years later, the difference becomes impossible to ignore. One person has access to better opportunities, higher income, greater influence, and more freedom. The other remains stuck in the same cycle, working just as hard but seeing very little progress. The difference was never effort. The difference was value. This is one of the most misunderstood truths about wealth. The market does not reward effort alone. It rewards valuable skills. A person can work incredibly hard at something the world barely values and remain financially trapped. Another person can apply the same level of effort toward a highly valuable skill and completely transform their future. The effort may be the same, but the outcome is dramatically different. Think about it this way. A person digging a ditch and a person negotiating a multi-million-dollar deal may both work hard. They may both be disciplined and dedicated. But the marketplace values those skills very differently. That may seem unfair, but it is reality. Wealth is often determined not by how hard you work, but by how valuable your skills are to other people. The wealthy understand this early. They constantly invest in themselves. They learn skills that increase their value and expand their opportunities. They understand that income is often a reflection of usefulness. The more problems you can solve, the more valuable you become. And the more valuable you become, the more opportunities begin to appear. Unfortunately, most people stop learning after formal education ends. They spend years repeating the same routines while expecting different results. Meanwhile, the world continues changing. New technologies emerge, new industries appear, new opportunities are created. Those who continuously develop valuable skills move forward. Those who remain stagnant slowly fall behind. Because hard work is not making you poor, hard work without growth might be. If your value remains the same year after year, your financial future often does too. The people who rise are rarely the people who simply work the hardest. They are usually the people who become the most valuable. Chapter 6. The Ownership Advantage. There is a reason why some people work their entire lives and never become wealthy, while others build fortunes that continue growing long after they stop working. The difference is ownership. Most people spend their lives earning income, while a small percentage spend their lives building assets. Over time, that difference becomes enormous. Imagine two people. The first spends 30 years working for a company. They arrive on time, work hard, help increase profits, and contribute to the growth of the business. The second spends those same 30 years building something they own, a business, a brand, an investment portfolio, a product, or a system. Both people work hard, but only one is building an asset. An asset can continue producing value long after the original work has been completed. A business can generate revenue, an investment can grow, a brand can attract customers, a product can be sold repeatedly. This is why ownership is one of the most powerful wealth-building tools in existence. The wealthy understand a simple truth. Income pays bills, but assets create freedom. Most people focus entirely on increasing income, while the wealthy focus on increasing ownership. That single difference creates a completely different financial future. Think about the largest companies in the world. Millions of people help those companies succeed. Employees create products, solve problems, increase revenue, and help businesses grow. But who receives the greatest financial reward? Usually the owners. Not because they necessarily work harder, but because they own the thing that creates value. Ownership allows people to benefit from growth. Employees are paid for their contribution. Owners are rewarded for the success of the entire system. This distinction may seem small, but over decades it changes lives. This is why many people remain trapped despite working harder every year. They are building assets they do not own. They are increasing value they do not control. They are helping create wealth that ultimately belongs to someone else. The wealthy think differently. Whenever they invest effort, they ask themselves a simple question: will I own the result? That question guides their decisions and shapes their future. Because ownership compounds, ownership grows, ownership creates leverage, and ownership creates freedom. Hard work is not making you poor. Working your entire life without ownership might be. Because at the end of the day, the goal is not simply to work harder. The goal is to build something that continues working for you long after the effort is gone. Chapter 7. Why most people never escape. By now you might be wondering, if the path to wealth is so clear, why don't more people follow it? Why don't more people build assets, develop valuable skills, create leverage, and take ownership of their future? The answer is simple. Because change is uncomfortable. Human beings are naturally drawn towards certainty, even when certainty is making them miserable. Most people would rather stay in a familiar situation they dislike than risk entering an uncertain situation that could improve their lives. They stay in jobs they hate, follow routines that lead nowhere, and continue making the same decisions year after year because the familiar feels safer than the unknown. This is the power of comfort. Comfort feels harmless, it feels safe, it feels predictable. But comfort comes with a hidden cost. It slowly kills ambition. It convinces people that tomorrow will somehow be different, even when they continue doing the exact same things. Days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years, and before they realize it, decades have disappeared. The most dangerous trap is not poverty. The most dangerous trap is comfort. Poverty at least creates urgency. It forces people to think differently. Comfort does the opposite. Comfort encourages complacency. It tells people that they can change later, that they can start next year, that they can wait until the perfect opportunity arrives. But the perfect opportunity rarely arrives. Many people know exactly what they should do. They know they should learn new skills. They know they should invest. They know they should start building something of their own. They know they should take calculated risks. But they don't. Not because they lack intelligence, but because fear keeps them frozen. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of uncertainty, fear of losing what little security they already have. This is why so many people become addicted to the paycheck. The paycheck creates certainty, even if it barely covers expenses, even if it prevents growth, even if it keeps them trapped. It feels safer than stepping into the unknown, and so they continue trading their future for temporary comfort. The truth is brutal. Confidence does not come before action. Confidence comes after action. Opportunity does not appear before movement. Opportunity appears because of movement. The people who change their lives are rarely the people who waited until they felt ready. They are the people who moved despite uncertainty. Because hard work is not making you poor. Fear is. Comfort is. Routine is. And until a person becomes willing to leave the familiar behind, they will continue living the same year over and over again while believing they are moving forward. The greatest prison in the world has no walls. It exists inside the mind. And most people never realize they are trapped until it is too late. Final chapter. Work hard, but on the right things. At this point, you might think this video was an attack on hard work. It wasn't. Hard work is one of the most valuable qualities a person can possess. Every successful entrepreneur, investor, creator, and leader has worked hard at some point in their journey. The problem was never hard work itself. The problem is that most people spend their lives working hard on the wrong things. They work hard building someone else's assets instead of their own. They work hard maintaining routines instead of creating opportunities. They work hard staying busy instead of becoming valuable. They work hard earning income instead of building ownership. And then they wonder why nothing changes. The reality is simple. Hard work is like fuel. Fuel by itself is useless. If you pour fuel into a car pointed in the wrong direction, you will only get lost faster. The same thing happens in life. Effort without direction does not create wealth. It creates exhaustion. This is why some people spend decades working harder every year while remaining financially stuck. They are accelerating in the wrong direction. Meanwhile, others focus on ownership, leverage, valuable skills, and long-term assets. Their effort compounds. Their opportunities multiply. Their freedom grows. The wealthy are not always the hardest workers in the room. They are often the people who understand where hard work produces the greatest return. They understand that effort should be invested, not just spent. Every hour should move them closer to freedom, not simply help them survive another day. If there is one lesson to remember from this entire video, let it be this. Hard work is not making you poor. Hard work in the wrong direction is. The goal is not to work less. The goal is not to avoid effort. The goal is to make sure your effort is building something that belongs to you. A skill, a business, an asset, a system, a future. Because one day, the years will pass whether you like it or not. The question is simple. Will your hard work create freedom? Or will it only create another year of the same life? The choice is yours.